Welcome to In Focus. I'm your host, Thuy Phan. Tattoos. For some, they are an art form, and to others, they are a sign of rebellion. Depending on who you are and what it means to ink your skin, tattoos are a world unto themselves. Join us as we take you inside a tattoo parlor where the artists show us how it's done and why it's not just for gang members or tough guys anymore. At any given moment at OC Tattoos, a masterpiece is being created. Unlike most artwork, this canvas is alive and breathing, and the artwork is sometimes their own and other times a creation of what the canvas had in mind. For many, tattoos are simply personal with a wealth of meaning, and for others, it is simply art that they admire. One thing, though, is for sure. Tattoos have always gotten a bad rep, and those who get them are often misunderstood.
Back in the day, I guess it was back in the 70s and 80s, people thought tattoo was more like a taboo, more for like bikers and bars and stuff like that. But actually it became like a more like art, and more celebrity was getting it. So then it's like a trend now. It's like a clothes you wear. Some people like to wear Ed Hardy shirt or brand name clothes and stuff like that. And it's like a trend. Same thing like a trend. Tattoo is like a trend.
We caught up with Thuy, a tattoo artist who has worked professionally for about 2 years, and watched as he inked a 22-year-old college student who came in for a rose tattoo on her collarbone. This will be her 5th.
My mom and dad is very conservative. They don't like tattoos whatsoever. The only person that doesn't have a tattoo right now in the family is my older sister, but me and my younger brother both all have tattoos.
Trước khi mình xăm là đồ thì để ra sẵn hết. Ok, cái này là mực với là đủ màu để cho xăm cái xăm trên da. Ok, and bữa nay mình xăm là cái bông hồng này là có 2 mẫu lận. Một cái mẫu là mình để đây để cho mình biết là mình xăm màu gì như là cách nào để xăm là cách. And mình để đây để cho mình coi là mình biết. Ok. You want to stand right here? Yeah. Trước khi mình bỏ cái mẫu lên khách á, thì mình phải clean cái da trước đàng hoàng. Thường khách á, mà mình bỏ nước này lên á, nó hơi sợ, nhiều lần khách run, xỉu cũng có nữa. Hả? Okay. Stand right here. Okay. Rồi mình clean cái area trước khi mình xăm cho không có phi trùng, không có bị infected or anything like that. So we have to keep everything clean. Everything gotta be nice and organized. Okay. Là cái nước mình dùng là alcohol với là metaside, which is mình xịt lên miếng giấy, mình chùi sạch để cho nó clean hết cái area trước. Okay, here we go. Okay, and that's how the stencil works. Cái này là cái stencil. Thì mình vẽ ra xong miếng giấy, cái mẫu á, mình in lên khách trước cho khách coi là mình sẽ xăm khúc nào. Rồi xong khách á, sẽ check cái mirror, phải không? And just to see is that what way she wants it. So you want to take a look in the mirror here? See that way you want it? Hỏi mà khách không có vừa ý á, thì mình lấy ra lại, mình bỏ lên lại cho khách. Từ theo khách thôi. Bây giờ bên nước Mỹ á, thì xăm á, là không phải là gì mà băng đảng, nhu đảng hay là ba cái gì bậy bạ. Bây giờ mình cũng có cảnh sát vô, cũng có luật sư, thầy giáo, cũng người thường thôi. Mỹ á, xăm á, là bây giờ là cũng là nó kêu là mainstream, giống là cũng very diverse. And ai cũng xăm hết á. Xăm là cũng như là cái artwork của nó thôi. Cái way of expression of American culture.
The tattoo that Thuy is working on today is a relatively small one. Some tattoos can take years to finish, but this one should take just a few hours. Take a look at some of the artwork that Thuy has done in the past.
Sometimes customer khách tới vô á, thì muốn cũng như là có cái gì in their life that very like change the way they think or how they see life, and they want to represent that and make that part of them, and they want to make it how they are or how they feel about life. And well, we have a lot of people, you know, like let's say for instance, if you're a musician, right? And we have a few musicians in here that comes to the shop and cũng some music note hay là drum set or whatever that represent them, you know. And it's catching on, very popular with the young and old crowd. Ready?
Oh, I have no choice.
All right, here we go. Very basic. When you do the outlining, it's basically just one straight line, and when you shade, depending on how you shade, some people shade in a circle, some people shade like this way, and depending on how you shade, if you do black and gray, which is just black, straight black ink to gray and to a white, then you have a different rhythm with your hand. And when you're doing a solid shading, which is like a tribal or something that's feeling solid, then you would actually use a different type of needle. There's different type of needle for it and different method of shading to it.
It's like a razor blade just going through your skin. But it feels different for a lot of people. It just depends where you get your tattoos too.
We don't recommend anesthesia because what it does is nó làm cái tattoo, cái màu của cái xăm á, nó làm cho nó lọt hơn. Bởi vì mình không lấy cái anesthesia. Và thiệt ra cái này nó cũng dung là kiến cắn thôi. Nó đau chút xíu thôi mà nó không có kiểu như là đau lắm, mà nhiều khách á xăm á bị ghiền. You know, and they come vô xăm cái miếng nhỏ, xong từ từ nó xăm lớn lên, xong lúc đó nhìn lưu manh, nhìn nhung đảng, mà thiệt ra không phải. Người đó cũng maybe a lawyer or somebody, no, a profession. Mình cũng có nhiều lawyer ở đây xăm lắm, xăm đầy tay luôn, mà có cái thì người ta đi làm á, người cũng mặc áo dài này kia để nhìn cho lịch sự thôi. Mà bề trong á thì người ta cũng xăm này kia cũng theo là cái artwork thôi. Cái đó là cái pastime của người ta thích. Với là hai bên nước Mỹ này người ta xăm nhiều là nó represent cái tự do của cái nước này, nó represent cái freedom of right and freedom of speech của người bên Mỹ. And Việt Nam mình mấy tụi trẻ đang lớn lên là học theo cái luật Mỹ, là theo cái society của Mỹ á, thì cũng thấy tự do này kia nó xăm để cho nó represent cái freedom của Mỹ, là mình làm, mình thích thì mình làm miễn sao mà mình không có làm chuyện bậy bạ với người ta thôi. Mình xăm cũng như là theo cái art của người ta thôi, là cái kiểu thôi.
Nhưng mà bên Việt Nam cũng còn xăm nhiều lắm mà.
Bây giờ thì bên Việt Nam cũng có xăm nhiều lắm. Tại bây giờ thì hồi xưa thì người lớn như là cha mẹ, ông chú và bà dì đồ nói là xăm là không được tốt, không được nên. Thì cái đó là cái như là cái belief của Việt Nam mà the old way. Mà bây giờ Việt Nam cũng becoming very open minded. Bên Việt Nam bây giờ người ta cũng xăm, tụi trẻ ca sĩ này kia cũng xăm về Việt Nam rồi. Bây giờ it became a mainstream now, more about art now. Usually a tattoo would last a lifetime, but depending on the artist and the work. For the average tattoo, you need a touch up. I say within about, my estimate is about 7 to 10 years. That's when you need a touch up. Trước khi ai muốn xăm á, thì lên cái web, check out mấy cái work của người ta trước, rồi get what you want, you know, and you think about it first, suy nghĩ trước lại, rồi trước khi mình muốn cái đó mình phải suy nghĩ lại trước, rồi xong mình lên tiệm, mình nói chuyện với cái người mà sẽ xăm cho mình á, mình hỏi nó câu như là cho tôi coi cái art của anh á, anh xăm mấy năm rồi, cái art của anh là sao, có cuốn sách gì cho tôi coi, rồi anh coi, lúc khách phải coi trước, coi xong rồi đó, rồi hỏi mà đồng ý trong lòng mà mình muốn cái người đó xăm cho mình á, mình thấy cái art của người đó đẹp á, thì lúc đó mình mới put our trust in them, you know. But once the tattoo is on you, it's on you. As that, cũng mình hỏi mà ai làm hư á thì sửa cũng được, mà sửa nó hơi khó hơn, nên bỏ cái tattoo mới lên. Okay, back to the tattoo. Basically, the outline is already done. And I just switched off my machine to a shader, which does the shading and stuff for the tattoo. And the piece we're doing today are traditional tattoo. So I'm going to shade it traditional style for her. Okay, you ready?
Yeah. A little bit. I'm actually afraid of the shading.
Oh, here we go.
Coming up after the break, find out what 1 hour, an idea, and skills can do for your body. You won't want to miss it. Stay with us. Welcome back to In Focus. I'm your host, Thuy Phan. Before the break, we introduced you to a tattoo artist named Thuy, who prides himself on the work he does bringing designs on paper to life. In this segment, join us as we find out more about this art and why it is often misunderstood.
You can't judge a person by the outside, you know. It's like a book. You can't judge a book by its cover, you know. And everyone who gets tattooed doesn't mean that they're a bad person or anything like that. You know, maybe they got it for a certain reason, and that, like I say, it's a trend and it's an art. That's all it is. And I think people out there should be more open-minded, you know. And you see someone with tattoo, just hey, give them a compliment. Hey, nice work. Where you get it at? And maybe, you know, you can talk to them a little bit and find out what kind of person they are, you know.
As luck would have it, sitting across the way was a police officer who was getting work done to complete his sleeve.
There's a lot of people, you know, in law enforcement that have tattoos. A ton of people in law enforcement have tattoos. Whether it's a little, you know, one on their ankle or one on their arm, and then there's several people who are full sleeved, you know, like I'm going for it.
He began his current sleeve 2.5 years ago, and it is a work in progress.
Well, I started a long time ago. I originally had an artist do it up this far here in the Midwest, and I had Gabe brought it around, did a half sleeve. Now he's bringing it down to full. So it's been a few years. I didn't expect to go full sleeve in the beginning.
His tattoo artist, Freehand Gabe, says he enjoys being able to have creative freedom.
That's my favorite style. I don't like working from flashes. We have sometimes customers first, like getting the first done, not just like a tiny piece. They want a half sleeve or even a full back piece. It's insane, but it's cool. At least we have more chance to express ourselves with some crazy big artwork instead of doing some little flash pieces. So it's cool.
I love, you know, having artwork done on my body, and you know, I like his style. I like abstract color work, which is, you know, what he's doing here, and I like being able that I found, you know, Gabe here, that he can freestyle, and I, you know, trust him to do that. You know, whether he can just kind of come in and have an idea and, you know, draw a little on my arm and then kind of go from there. And I think that's, me personally, that's how I like, you know, tattooing, you know, because you're just kind of going with the flow and freestyling. And it shows, you know, the mood you're in.
Duff says his tattoos are purely personal and does not dictate or change the level of professionalism he displays at work. The only caveat is that he has to cover them up when he's on the job.
Yeah, not me. I wear a long sleeve. Yeah, that's, you know, most departments, you know, these days, I guess it shows, you know, how much, you know, how common, you know, tattooing is now, because most departments that I know of are, you know, they have policies now in place where you have to cover them up. It's really an issue that they've had to address, I guess, because everybody's getting them. So, yeah, I have to wear long sleeves, but it's not a big deal. Does it hurt? Oh, yeah. I mean, other parts hurt, you know, up in here, this area, and there's more sensitive areas where it hurts more than out here. It's really not that bad. And then if you're going over a spot that's already been done recently, that's, you know, more sensitive. But so it's painful, but, you know. No pain, no gain. Exactly.
This is some of the artwork that Gabe has done over the past. Good tattoos don't come cheap. Generally, all tattoo artists charge by the hour and by the type of tattoo being done. On the low end, a small heart tattoo may run $50, while a large Chinese dragon tattoo could run upwards of $800. If tattoo artists charge by the hour, they could charge between $100 to $175. You also need to consider the amount of color, shading, and intricacy in the price. At LC Tattoo, their minimum is $60.
Because large pieces we charge hourly, just everybody got different size of arm and different requests for details and colors. More colors, more detail, more time, more money. Unfortunately, we have to charge a little bit more for spending more time. but it's worth for it. I think that the customer says, but don't ask me about it, ask him.
Yeah, I just think that, I mean, it's going to cost money, but if you're going in to get a tattoo and you're worried about money, then, you know, then you really don't care what it looks like. I mean, I got an artist who's incredibly talented that can freestyle. You know, it takes a lot of confidence, you know, to be able to sit there and, hey, I trust you to freestyle on me. You know, and it's worth the money. I mean, it's free. It's going to be there your whole life, so you want to, you know, be willing to pay some money, you know, because you want it to look good. And it's going to be there your whole life, so I'll try to, you know, that's not the thing in tattooing. It's, you know, you don't want to budget, you know, you're not like worried about money. And you're not, if you're going for a cheap tattoo, you're not going to get good work done.
Even sometimes, most of the times, the cheap tattoo goes more expensive because really soon they got disappointed of the cheap quality and they want to cover it up or fix it up by someone, and it sometimes costs double and makes hard time for the artist. Requires a good artist fixing up the old, not as good as tattoo, or even for cover up.
Back to Ty and Jennifer. He is putting the finishing touches on her rose tattoo.
Now you can see this piece here. She wanted the rose to look like as though it's like has a dark tone color to it, and it's a little darker than the usual rose, but it's what she likes and what she wants. So. Like I say, tattoo gives a person characteristic, you know. What she wants and what she likes is like a darker color rose, and it has meaning or like maybe symbolic, or even the color of the rose she likes. Could be simple as that, you know. And it represents her or what she wants. And it's like a conversation piece, you know. If she were to go out in the street now and someone would ask, "Wow, nice color rose," and you know, they would say, well, it's a little bit dark, and you know, it's a conversation piece for her and for people to ask questions and stuff like that. And
what is that word that my mom uses? Oh, like young guy, you know? But it's not like that. Like what he says to you, you know, it's a career. It's still your choice for whoever wants to get tattoos or not. And it's just, I believe, like, whatever you think about yourself is what people think of you. The way you carry yourself, or whichever, it doesn't really matter if you have tattoos or not. Because even doctors, like he said, you know, doctors, lawyers, everyone, engineers all have tattoos. It's just either they choose to show it or they hide it under all their clothes, and then they show it like on weekends when they go out with their family. It's just, I believe everybody has one. It's just, you know, how you carry yourself as long as you have one. Either you stop at a certain point or you just never stop until you're completely covered. But I have a feeling I'll end up stopping after I get my whole back done and maybe both of my arms, and I'll probably stop.
It's 2009. I think it's, you know, way past the time where, you know, tattoos are taboo, and it doesn't, you know, mean that somebody's a bad person or they're, you know, whatever. But I think that, you know, it kind of shows doctors, lawyers, police officers, whatever, you know, all, you know, like to get artwork done on, you know, on their body and express that.
And that's it, we're done. Want to stand up and take a look at it? You like it?
Yeah, thank you, Phan.
This is Vaseline, which is helps the tattoo, helps the blood from pushing the tattoo back out. And I would leave this on for about an hour to an hour and a half, and then take the bandage off, and then go home, take a shower with warm water, and put Lubriderm unscented lotion on. I would recommend 3 times a day for the Lubriderm unscented lotion, which helps keep the color nice and bright. And 3 times a day for 2 weeks, okay?
Whether or not you agree with tattoos or think they are good or bad, there's one thing you can't dispute, and that is that these artists are truly talented. Art is often not conventional, and in the case of tattoos, they aren't always accepted, but in the end, the choice is always personal. Some people like to hang their art on the walls, and others like to walk around with it. Until next time, we hope you learn more, live more, and always stay focused. Thanks for watching.